Hi everyone, this is Tina with Overall Adventures. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a big video because we are going over all of the journals that I used in 2022 and I'm here for it. I'm super excited. So without further ado, we're just gonna jump in. I'm gonna show you and walk you through a couple of all the journals, and then I'm gonna, at the end of this video, give you some of my stats, so some of my favorite journals, my least favorite journal, and just kind of talk about the experience overall of 2022. Okay, well, in terms of just journals, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the year. So I think overall that's pretty good considering my average. Yeah, it's usually my average is somewhere around 5 or 6. So that's pretty great. This first one though is I finished it January 22nd. So it wasn't the whole journal wasn't in 2022. I am currently on my 84th journal. And almost done with this one here. So let's just chat through each of these. So the first journal of the year was this A6 Cafe Notes. And I very, very much enjoyed this. This is somehow became quite scrappy for me. This was grid and I did mark it up with some tea stains but it's a lot of just straight writing, and then at the end there's just a bunch of collage-y kind of things that I just threw in. I love A6. I love this size above all. I think the paper in here is great. I did not love the grid, however. It was too small and just too heavy of a grid for me, but this size was so much fun. So this is my typical kind of thing where it's literally just writing and an occasional sticker. But for the most part, it's just straight up writing. This was good. I wouldn't say this was my all-time favorite journal or favorite writing experience, but the size here is what makes it for me. So that was the first journal of 2022. The second one, I jumped into the Onion Skin notebook, which you all voted and chose for me to use next. I was still using gray ink here, at least for the first part. And again, it's just straight writing. I only wrote on one side of the page. I used this journal for a month and a half, I guess. And it fell apart, which I talked about in a previous video, so watch that above, but it did fall apart, but that was also kind of my fault because I put too much tea on it. And then at the end I transitioned to this brown ink, which I really didn't like, but I just kept using for some reason. And I'm not gonna lie, this was not for me. This just was not for me. There was a couple things that were going on with this journal. One is that it was too narrow. I love the sound of the pages, but I didn't love that I could write on the backs. And it got more and more chaotic, I feel in here the more that I wrote. And the hardcover was cool, but this wasn't my favorite writing experience. And this was actually the journal I was in when I found out that we were expecting a baby, which was super exciting. But I remember feeling this wasn't the journal that I would have wanted to be in to find out such great news, just because it just wasn't right for me. But the paper was really fun. It was just a fun experience, but I don't think that I will be going back to Onion Skin anytime soon. Then the next journal I moved into, so this is my 81st journal, and man, I adored this notebook. I flew through this because the paper was so great. Yeah, basically a month and a half again. And this is a Denica 58 notebook. You can see me talk about it in another video above in more detail. But the paper quality in this notebook is just unbelievable. She has these available in her shop. She also has a bunch of other, if you want more of a brighter white color, she has that. If you want something thicker, she has it. If you want something thinner, she has it in this paper. This is stunning. It's a lie flat notebook. You can beat up this notebook and it is solid. I loved this. I had such a good time in here. The only thing that I regret doing was that I used that same brown ink the whole way through, and I just didn't like the brown ink from the beginning and I just kept using it. I don't know what I was doing. So I just really did not it was just kind of like like it just made me feel like the color just didn't make me feel great. But this time in the mountains, basically like April in the mountains is probably like my least favorite month here, because it's just what they call mud season and everything's just kind of like blah and brown and gray. So I guess this worked out in terms of the ink for that, but I had such a great time in this notebook. This is an A5, and yeah, I just loved the construction here was beautiful. And then I went from there. But I was missing the A6 because I had done 2 like kind of A5s-ish in a row. And so I went into a Midori. So this I used from May 10th to June 7th. I also have another video on this guy. And so I used Midori before, and I like remember really loving it. And then coming back to it, I was like, oh my gosh, I really didn't like the paper. I think it's because I was like still just coming off of like how amazing this paper quality was to go back to here. It just felt like really, really, really scratchy. And as a highly sensitive person, it just it just bugged me. It just irked me. But I finally did switch ink, and I did get a new ink, which was like a blue-black ink, which I really liked. It definitely kind of fit more of my mood and this just denim, my love affair with denim and all that kind of stuff. So I really liked the ink, but I really did not enjoy the paper. And same thing pretty much here. It's just straight writing with an occasional ephemera thing thrown in the back. This was a fun journal because Luke and I went on like a little trip at that time, and you know, just a little bit of documenting. Oh wait, no, this is the one. Sorry, this is the journal where I did do some pre-collaging, where I just like threw in ephemera and stickers, and I just wanted to like use some of what I had, and that was fun, but that made the journal go even faster. Yes, this is that one. I have mixed feelings about collage. Like, I appreciate it when it's done, but I honestly don't enjoy doing like stickers and scrapbooks and like stuff like that. It just takes, I really have to like get into the zone, and I typically do it all in one shot because I don't like taking out all my ephemera and stuff. I just like, when I want to write in the morning, I just want to write, and I don't want to be like fussing with stickers and washi and stuff like that. So intuitive collage works for me. If you're curious to know more about that, I have another video on that as well. But I don't know. It's just not my favorite. I don't know. Something about collaging is just, I have to like force myself to do it. I think that's what it is. It doesn't just like kind of come naturally to me in my writing style. It's more like I have to make the effort to do it. So that was 82. And then from there, I moved into a leuchtturm pocket. And I love leuchtturms. I think they are solid quality. I really like the paper. It's different than Danica 58 paper, but it's so enjoyable. This was a blank notebook, and I just had so much fun in just this small size. I always say this on this channel, but I will say it again. If you are a new journaler, start small, literally, because it's just gonna feel so much better to finish. In this notebook, I was also using my new lilac ink, which was so much fun and totally just hit that kind of like summer mood that I was going for. So this was just like, I'm gonna equate this to like bubblegum. This was like a bubblegum journal. This was just like easy to fill up, and I just had a blast. From here, I went to my last journal of the year, which is 84. I think this is gonna be my last journal of the year. This guy's taken me a long time, and there's a reason for that. So this is pretty much July 10th, and I'm still working in it at the end of October, or mid-October here. There are 380 pages in this notebook, okay? And it's tomoe paper, so it's super thin. This is an effort to fill up this notebook in a good way. This is just a stunning, stunning notebook. I love tomoe paper. I love how thin it is. I love that it's dot grid. I use also my lilac ink in here, so it's just hitting summer. It's hitting everything that I need right now. And I really like that I'm just throwing things in here and just using it without without worry. And I do think it's going to take me right up to, at least when the baby comes, maybe I'll have one more journal, like one more small guy. Maybe I'll do one more little leuchtturm before the end of the year, but baby's going to come before then. So I definitely wanted to make this video for you all today. That is the stack. That's the stack. I also used a bullet journal. So if you're curious about my bullet journal, I have another video on that. So I just had this guy for bullet journaling, and I had this leuchtturm A5 soft cover for just YouTube planning as well. These are both not complete, but those are notebooks I was in this year too. So let's jump into just really quick a couple little reflections, you could say. So what was my favorite journal of the year? Yeah, my favorite journal of the year for sure was this one. This was the Danica 58 bulky notebook, and I will put that in the description box below for you. Just the paper was just out of this world. It took me by surprise, truly. So, and the lie flat construction. I love the Tomoe River paper Danica 58 notebook, but I have to say that I like a little bit more substance. I just enjoyed having a little bit thicker paper this time around. So this was definitely my favorite. Least favorite is gonna be the onion skin. Yeah, definitely. Least favorite is the onion skin. I just found this to be like really chaotic, and I don't know, there's something about the energy here. I don't know what it was. It just was not for me. I love how I wrote for myself. I was like, oh, I want to talk about one new thing I did that I really loved or that worked this year for me. And I honestly have to say, I think this year of journaling was my most like standard in a sense. Like I really didn't collage that much. I did like straight writing. And you know what? I'm okay with that. That's just what I like to do. That's just my style, stream of conscious, word vomit kind of writing, and not a lot of collage and images. And that's just me. And I enjoy that. So I'm just going to continue. I think unless something major changes, that's what I like to do in my journals. My favorite pen this year was definitely my workhorse, my Lamy Safari. This is like the only one I pretty much used in bold nib. I have to say I really liked this lilac ink, so I will also link that into the description box, but it is not archival. So that is something to consider if you are looking and like researching ink. So if these did get wet, I suppose the ink would run. I don't know. I probably should do a test of that one day, but yeah, that's my year. It was a very successful journaling year for me. Actually, I'm just gonna say in a good way, it was like perfectly average. Like this was a very normal writing year for me. I wouldn't say it was like amazing. Like I just did my thing, which is probably not the answer you want to hear, but it was like a very standard journaling year for somebody who's been journaling for as long as I have. So I didn't go through any major slumps. I mean, I suppose like moving into a new house, that was probably the toughest part, or like my lowest frequency of journaling. But I didn't like excessively write. Like this was a very average year for me. So hey, I'm cool with that. And I'm curious to see how having a baby is going to change my journaling style in 2023, because I have no idea what to expect there. I really don't. So yeah, I'd say this was a really wonderful year of journaling, and you know, I have I'm just excited to continue on. That's just kind of what I like to do, and it just helps me to heal and process and experience the world. So that's what you got. That's a 2022 journaling wrap up. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me this year as my first year back on YouTube after taking quite a long break. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful year with all of you, and I look forward to the next one. Let's do it. Talk to you soon. Peace.